Let's see. Here's a excerpt from Candace Owens. See what she has to say. Interesting tweet from Nick Fuentes.
What I can say about JD Vance is I personally have not dealt with him, but I trust the people who trust JD Vance. Okay, now you may say you shouldn't trust somebody third party. No, it means something when Tucker Carlson, has been a warrior for America, who has taken a ton of figurative bullets for America, who has lost his job for taking.
Okay. Okay. Let me tell you. Tucker Carlson, with all due respect, is not some like hero. Okay. Figurative bullets. I think Tucker's cool. Like, I think he's a chill guy, but there's a lot of deception with Tucker. A lot of fucking deception with Tucker. Like, oh, my dad was in the CIA? My dad was in the CIA? What? Who doesn't know their father is a Central Intelligence Agency fucking agent? It's just like, I can't believe, who believes that? No one in their right mind believes that. Do you believe that? No, you don't. You don't believe that. No one believes he did not know. So that right there is like and the fact that lie is so significant of like, nigga, really? The CIA? I could be like, oh, I didn't know my dad did math in his free time. Nigga, the CIA. It's like the craziest job of all. It's one of the coolest jobs of all time. You don't know your dad has one of the coolest jobs of all time? Never brought up, never mentioned ever once out of the years. Come on. And it's so like, you think we're that stupid? You think we're that dumb? So this whole thing, because the whole thing that I think she's getting at is people are not fucking with JD Vance for the running candidate of being the next president because he's got a brown wife. Okay, he's got a brown wife. A lot of people do not like color for some reason. Now, I don't think it matters. I don't think that matters at all. But other people are gonna, whatever. And so basically they're like, Tucker and JD Vance are kind of like these perfectly curated, crafted, like working men type of vibe people. But really they're like, these venture capitalists, Silicon Valley, rich white guys. Like, let's be honest. They're not like your average Joe, but they play the shtick of like being your average Joe when they're not in any way similar. This guy's dad's in the fucking CIA. He also worked on Fox News. He also has like millions of dollars, like $25 million net worth or something crazy. JD Vance is like a perfectly curated, crafted individual to portray as a working family man, or to portray himself as like this, working class, proper etiquette, fought for his country guy. And he was like, I think he just was there as like the photographer or something. So to boast about Carlson, like he took the bullet for us and he got fired at Fox News. It's fucking Fox News. News is corrupt. It's all corrupt. We all know it's corrupt. So, I don't pay any mind in terms of significance. It is what it is to me.
Taking a stance that we should be America first, and because he refused to toe the line, whether it be on vaccines or whether it be on Ukraine, it means a lot when Tucker Carlson says, "I like this guy, and this guy is well suited to be the vice president."
Taking Tucker Carlson's word is like, it's like a dog eating cat food. It's just not meant for everyone. It's just not meant for everyone. Yeah.
United States. I know some other concerns people have is they're saying, well, Peter Thiel is funded his way through the Senate. I'm not clear on what the issue is there with Peter Thiel having funded his way through the Senate. What I can say about JD Vance is,
look, I think so. The next coming primary or the midterms is going to be where the Democrats are going to try to get Trump out of office. They already got the No Kings protest. They already have all of these different citations, getting people on the back end of anti-Trump rhetoric. But to the next few people who are going to run, right? Which may be Trump, maybe he runs a third term. Who the fuck knows? You're looking at Gavin Newsom, which is on the Democratic side because he's their only next runner-up. Who else? Stephen A is not going to do it. They don't really have anybody. Gavin Newsom's probably your best shot. I mean, you only got him, really. He's like the closest one to people knowing him, at least to some degree. And and he's always active, or like he's active in the news come. And then you have JD Vance and Marco Rubio. I don't know who. Oh shit. Oh, hello. Okay. I don't know who's gonna be Newsom's vice president if he does run, or whatever they got going on, which would probably be, imagine if it was Kamala. That'd be crazy. But my whole thing is like JD Vance in some aspect, and I just kind of see this with like a lot of politicians. A lot of them just don't seem, they can't be, as soon as they try to, whatever they craft and curate, I'm always like, okay, that's not it. It's just like politicians are so unbelievable. Like they're just impossible to believe. Like, I don't know. For me, they don't ooze authenticity a lot of the times. A lot of the times they ooze like, take my interest so you can give me money, or take my interest so you can vote for me, so I can get in power, so I can make more money. So I don't know. Now, I think beyond that, I myself am fond of JD Vance as a person from what I see surface level. Like when you just consume JD Vance as just like how he just is now, you're like, oh, this is him. But you don't really know the back end of his actual upbringing, that he went by a different name. His background is not as efficient as you think it is and refined. And he's curated as this working man, hunter, strong guy. And it turns out, you know, a lot of that is bullshit. And it's not that it's bullshit, but it's like, it's not as concrete as what people want, you know? People like a perfectly curated guy. For me, it is what it is. I think, will I vote Democrat? Will I vote Republican? For me, dude. So I'm a registered Republican in the state of Florida. Me and Sydney Sweeney are akin. We're just alike. Love you, Sydney. Love you. But, you know, I'm registered as that because that's just kind of like the affiliation. And that just party just kind of speaks like a little bit more logic to me. Okay. Like, I feel like if you're more of an emotional thinker, just in my eyes, the Democratic side is going to, it's going to reside with you. Like, the Kamala stuff for me just wasn't really speaking to me, even though, and I feel like it just wasn't fair. The opportunities that they were trying to bring forward just wasn't fair. You know, there were a lot of problems that they were addressing, which were good, but there were a lot of problems that they were addressing that I don't think was fair for everyone. And that's why. One of them is like, the way I see it is like, Trump's one is like, it's a meritocracy. If you're good, you can get in the position. Now, it's going to be hard as a default if you're a minority, because you're obviously not going to have the same advantages as someone who hasn't had to go through oppression. But if you're good, you're good. Like, you'll be able to get in. Your skin color doesn't really matter. It just matters of if you're good or not, right? At the time and point, we need good shit. And then some of the things like the defected and the disenfranchised are going to get more opportunity, which I would be a part of that. I would be a part of someone who would be getting more advantages because I'm a black person. But for me, it's like, is that fair? I don't think that's fair. And it could be just like me coping, but I feel like that's just not fair. Now, I do think, and then like all the other stuff, like the women's rights and the LGBT, all that other extra shit, that doesn't speak to niggas, bro. Like, that doesn't speak to young men. Young guys don't care about that. I mean, respectfully, like, it's nothing against those communities. It's nothing against them. It's just that it is of nothing of our concern. It isn't. So the fact of the matter is when you're basing all your shit on like minorities, that's like, I have to go there from an empathetic stance, which you're putting emotional intelligence in the hands of the voters. The voters are going to have the emotional intelligence to be like, women should this, and women should be able to kill their babies, and it's like, you're not. It's once you. I feel like if you start to process the logic, everyone's going to end up going Republican anyways. Now, what's happening, which is a little bit defected, sorry, is the Republican side is not as proficient as we thought it was, or at least as effective as we thought it was. Now, they have the entire House, they have the entire Senate, they have everything they need. And I believe that some people are under the speculation that they're not in there on the best interest of the American people, and they're in there for their own interests, like building a $200 million ballroom, right? Using excessive spending, starting wars with Ukraine, and trying to come at least with a peace deal, with a trilateral deal with Russia, Ukraine, and the United States. But I think people are in general not as efficient when it comes to, or people are not in the, do not have the best perception of the Republican Party and this administration under the few fallings that Trump has had, right? And I don't want to say that he's been the worst president of all time, and it's the worst of, it's the worst presidency. But I do think that other people's consensus is that they're not too fond of things that he's done. Like cutting Medicaid, the one big beautiful bill, trying to advance AI, and because that bill was almost going to pass a registration of like extreme, it would impose AI that would destroy everything. You would be able to like do whatever you want with AI. Like you could like make, as long as obviously websites and stuff have their terms and conditions of what they can do. And what it was like, it was written in that the constitutional exploit would be, you would be able to push further, not only just the agenda, but you would be able to push further content and media of AI and the use of AI way more efficient, and use like immense amounts of invasion of privacy and data encryption advantages, which would allow you can make your own website, create a deep fake porn of it, and then you would under no legal scrutiny be able to be incentivized to have to take that website down based on you being able to write in constitutional confines of this is non-copyright material, and or this is original content, and or you can't do it because it's based on the creator's precipitation. You could exploit the fuck out of it. And that's only just one like quick aspect you could think of. Think about, maybe even forging signatures, or quantum computing exploitation of cracking wallets, or it was a bad idea to do that so fast. Now, maybe we should start moving, when security gets more proficient and identification is a little bit more refined, like the Online Safety Act, which I understand that the Online Safety Act does have a good thing where it's like trying to help the kids, whatever. And there's also the bad part where they actually will have a lot of access to data that they shouldn't have. I do think there has to be another way to do it, though. If you do want to have like a way to identify people on the internet, there has to be another way to do it. There has to be another way. The only way I could think is like facial recognition, so like, or like biocryptic information. I mean, actually no, biocryptic would be insane, but like Face ID. Like you can't open YouTube without your Face ID, right? Something like that. Like that's something that's like, it's not at least a complete invasion of privacy, but at least there's some form of like, we got your face. For you to sign in, you have to have to show your face. Or, obviously if someone's camera's broken, your thumbprint or whatever. But yeah, ID, because ID has your license verification, like your license number is on there, your like everything's on there. There's too much, there's just a lot of shit on there. And so will the Democratic primary be able to outlive the Republican Party's immense vigor when it comes to the marketing campaign for their individuals, right? Like right now, we're at the point where Candace Owens is fighting Nick. Nick is fighting the Republican Party, and he's kind of fighting everyone. And right now, we're kind of looking at, well, what is the Democratic side going to do in comparison to the Republican side? The Republicans are looking a lot less proficient than usual. I'll say that. And the Democratic side is looking like they're in the cahoots of trying to build some sort of establishment. That's what it seems. From an outside perspective, me just looking, oh, what's going on in here, guys? How you guys doing? So I like Vance from like a surface level, but he could be, a fake person or whatever, crafted to perceive or deceive the American working people to look like a good guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I think Vance is not that bad from what I've seen. I don't know too much about him, but I don't even know how much that matters. I just think like if they're good, they're good. That's how if they're good, they're good. Like, if they're good, they're good, you know? So Candace Owens has that stance on them, which is chill. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see.